In more and more houses these days, plastic pipe is being used instead of copper pipe. And the couplings are a push-fit coupling which work in conjunction with the semi-flexible pipe. Now, I'm not totally sure that I approve of that, because in domestic situations the pressure of water, particularly from the main, is quite substantial. And whilst these may be very well manufactured, I'm not quite so convinced about their appropriateness, because I guess I'm old-fashioned and I like soldered pipe of the old type. But it's different in caravans and it's different in motorhomes, because there the pressure of the water is considerably less, inevitably so. And frankly, I think this is absolutely excellent in that circumstance. It doesn't kink, because there's a product that prevents that happening, and it has all the advantages that hose and clips lacks. Let's get a little bit closer and look at some of the components. Well, here are some of the products. Most of these come from Wale, the supplier of water systems, including pumps and water heaters in caravans and motorhomes. They're also very well known in the marine industry as well. They have a long heritage, and this is one of their recent introductions that has developed and become very popular. First of all, there are the push fittings themselves. And let's get straight to it. Blue pipe cold, red pipe hot. If we take this and we insert the pipe into there, there's one little warning. It goes in, but you don't get it quite all the way. You've got to push extra hard to make it go right to the absolute limit. And when it's at the absolute limit, pulling it will not make it come apart. It is remarkable how it works. No, I'm not a conjurer, but just watch this. Oh, how did I do that? Well, around the end is a component called in the trade a collet. And when that is inserted in there, it won't come out easily unless you take a nail, you press the collet that way while you pull the pipe that way, and in an instant it dislocates, ready to be adjusted and adapted. So there we are, push fit plumbing, and you can't get it apart unless you want to. On the other hand, this has got to be done properly. You can't just get a saw to cut this to length, because it gets all little bits of dust on the end. I used to cut this with a woodworker's cutting knife, but you sometimes get it on a slight angle. I didn't realise that these DIY cutters were actually so inexpensive. So if I wanted to cut a bit off this to trim it ready for use, there it is, and it's square to the end. That's important in push-fit plumbing. And of course there are components. Look at this, for example. Oh dear, I do wish the Caravan and the motorhome manufacturers would fit one of these components. A drain down tap. Very neat, a little turn tap there. So you can position this at the lowest point in the system, and when winter is on the way and the thought of frost, you can just turn this and all the water drains out. And of course this is the push fit end where you make the connection. I mentioned earlier that it didn't kink. Well, actually it does. That wasn't quite true. One of the items that isn't currently sold by Wale but is sold by a firm well known in the building industry concerned with plumbing, John Guest, sells a little bracket. It goes around 90 degrees. It's really a channeling more than a bracket. But by putting that in the system where you want your pipe to do a bend, you put it in place so that you press down It clicks in to the unit there, and what happens is these curvatures protect the walls of the pipe itself and stop it developing the kink that would upset the flow of water. Naturally, this is only a brief insight into the freshwater systems fitted in caravans and motorhomes. And if you like practical matters, why not have a look at the caravan and motorhome manuals from Haynes, where there are both chapters appropriate for the different kind of leisure vehicle on plumbing and all related water matters. I hope you found that of interest. If you found this interesting, why don't you go onto the WikiWorld website? You'll see where to go on the bottom of the screen.